Hello, everybody. How many are out there? I hope everybody's day is going fantastic. Excuse my appearance, but I might put myself on pause and kind of brush my hair out. I did not realize this is what I look like. But I hope everybody's doing well. This heat is killing me. I can't stand summer. So I'm going to try to make this show as brief as possible. And I do got a grocery delivery coming because I'm still carless. I haven't had a car since the week before Mother's Day, and now we're after Father's Day. So I'm not in the best of moods, but it's just first world problems. That's what I've got. Um, yeah, I'm gonna um, take myself down and bring myself back up because I don't like what I'm seeing, but it'll be just a second here. Hold on just a moment, everybody. Okay, that's a little better. Okay, that's a little better. So, like I said, I hope everybody is doing well this evening. There are 74 days until the 2025 NFL season kicks off. I am just, of course, I've been counting this down every single week. Um, and I'm just wanting football to come back because we needed to come back. Because these other sports done got on my lad nerve. I'm just not with them. We do have a lot to talk about today. Um, but before I get the discussion going, I'm trying to bring up a picture here because I've got a special treat in mind for you guys today. So let me get some bills paid here. Um, hit that subscribe button. Hit it, smash it, obliterate it. We're still stuck at 373. 1,000 is the goal. Help me to do that. Subscribing literally costs you nothing. It doesn't cost you a dime to subscribe. Um, you can support me on Patreon. Patreon support starts at 50 cents a week. Um, as you can tell, I am in desperate need of a light because the one to my right, your left, which you can't see, it's flickering on and off. So I have to buy a new light, and a good light is costing at least $75 to $85, which of course I don't have. But your support in Patreon helps me to do that. Please join the Tracy Media Group mailing list. Once a month, June 15th, I send out a newsletter to kind of update people on what I am doing. Um, so keep that in mind. It doesn't cost anything to join the mailing list. You can always unsubscribe, and I will not sell your name to anyone. You'll just get a monthly newsletter, and it'll be just great. As always, this number went up, but help us to get 75 likes and 45 shares. Um, that will help us to defeat the algorithm, trying to get this podcast and my other podcast out to as many people as possible. And finally, mark your calendars. Saturday, September the 20th at 7 p.m. I am sponsoring a channel fundraiser. My goal is to raise $700. That's going to help me to pay for StreamYard or Restream, whichever one I go with for a year. My preference is StreamYard because it allows you to do so much more. So that costs about $600 a year, which again I don't have. And then the other 100 is going to go towards getting lights if my Patreon doesn't meet that expectation. Remember also to comment because I'm going to need y'all comments tonight. we've got an interesting show this evening. I'm trying to bring up this picture. I am still, I'm going to bring this up. So I'm basically going to talk about just a few things. I'm definitely going to talk about Trump alone, bombing Iraq. I'm going to talk about the hypocrisy of the Democratic Party in terms of this bombing. How some are blaming third-party voters. I mean, it's, of course, it's just, that's what Democrats do. You either vote for who they tell you to vote, or everything that bad happens is your fault. Like, we're the ones that told Trump, hey, bomb Iraq. I'm going to talk about the hypocrisy of that, and the hypocrisy of what would happen if a Harris-Walz administration was in. Newsflash, it wouldn't be any different. I'm going to talk about the Tyler Perry situation. He's being sued for $260 million, I believe, by a gentleman that has accused him of sexual harassment and SA. So we'll get into that because I got a lot of thoughts about that. And finally, I'm going to show you a picture of apparently what AI thinks I look like with just jet black hair. I saw this picture, and to be honest, it shocked me because I was just discussing this with my sister. I can't remember the last time I had a full head of black hair. I can't remember it. It had to be like in my late 20s, because by the time I reached like 35, this is what you was getting. So I saw the picture and I was like shocked, but I could kind of tell, and this is going to be a broad discussion of AI, but you can see it kind of looks like me. I'm going to show you the original picture of me that I put in, and what they have. You'll see the distinctions. Hello, Edie. How are you? Glad you could tune in. Remember to hit that like button and keep those comments coming. So I want to talk about, like I said, I'm not suspecting this is going to be a really long show, because me in summer, I don't like summer. It's a useless, pointless season of the year. So it's going to be like this the rest of June, July, and August. I'll be better when September comes around, because I can't. It's so hot. I cannot. Y'all know my range. I like my temperatures between 15 to 45. I can function. I can't function when it's 75, 85, 95. I can't. I don't like this heat. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. So today, again, we're going to start off with Trump bombing Iraq. And let me say this. I want to make this clear. This is Trump ordering the bombing of Iraq. This isn't Congress declaring war. And so I hear people say, well, we're at war. We're not technically at war. Congress chose to give the president executive power to do. Congress gave its executive authority to authorize war in some cases to Congress. But technically speaking, only Congress can declare war, right? So we got to stop. This is a Trump ordered attack on Iran. Couple questions. One, so apparently, if you didn't know or you've lived under a rock, Israel bombed Iran because they quote unquote have nuclear weapons, or have the potential. Even though Tulsi Gabbard in a previous report, I believe in March, said they aren't making weapons, they don't have any intention, blah, 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 blah. Apparently, I hate when a fire truck, I hate This is the bad thing about living down the street from a fire station. So they bomb Iran, and because they have this potential to make nuclear weapons. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to name some countries that also had nuclear weapons: Israel, Pakistan, United States, China, Russia, Israel. All of those countries have nuclear weapons or the potential to make nuclear weapons. So, what else is it that Netanyahu is wanting? He's kind of speaking out of both sides of his mouth. In one sense, he's saying, oh, we don't need America to help us fight this. But yet, you're asking for American help. And let me tell you why I know he's asking for America's help. Israel doesn't have the capacity to fight Iran by itself. It does not. They don't have any type of weaponry that can successfully endure a long range type of war. If you have, I think, and this is just me thinking out loud, I'm thinking this is just some type of power grab. I mean, Netanyahu has already talked about expanding Israel into parts of Africa, expanding its reach in the Middle East. So this kind of lines up with what he wants to do. And it's amazing to me how AIPAC has just framed it, saying, you know, if we're against yeah, I want to bring up this because Edie, you said it perfectly well. It would have taken years to get weapon status, and Iran has not been pursuing it since 2003. This is 2025. So that's 22 years they haven't even pursued this, but yet we're bombing them because we're destroying their ability to make nuclear weapons. Okay, so, and they haven't, and another accusation, they haven't opened up their uranium plants or whatever to be inspected. Last time I checked, nobody's inspecting the U.S.'s ability to make nuclear weapons. So, in other words, it's okay that we have weapons, but they don't. We get to say who, and we get to tell another country how to defend itself. Now, in my perfect world, there would be no nuclear weapons, period. Nobody would have them. Nobody would be making them. Nobody would be pursuing them. But if you're going to have them, how do you stand and say, hey, you can't have them, but we can? I'm going to do a Savvy Sabs. Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense to me that that's the framing that our government is taking. And please, miss me with the, we're doing this for the children and the women. Women don't have equal rights in Iran. Here's a big old news flash. Women don't have equal rights in the United States of America. How do I know that? We have a government that's cutting SNAP benefits. We have a government that hasn't put in any dollar research into Black and maternal health. You're going to tell me what they're doing to women? I'm going to tell you what we're doing to women, right? They don't get their education. And am I saying those things are true or not true? I don't know. I don't live in Iran. I live in Indianapolis, Indiana. It's very difficult for me to understand this propaganda. It's like the media wants a war, because like what makes you think that you have the right to tell, and this is just my thoughts, what makes you think you have the right to tell a country how it operates? If they're unhappy with it, they will rise up and change it. It's the exact same thing when I was talking about Ibrahim Traoré and what's going on in Burkina Faso. What say do you get? That government, that country has a right to run its own affairs without you saying, okay, do this and do that. It's very ironic to me that they're trying to spin this, oh, we're doing this for the women and children, and yet our women and children are suffering. You're talking about cutting Job Corps, which would benefit children, younger children and older children, because it goes to 18. You're talking about cutting SNAP. You're talking about cutting the Department of Education, but you're going to give me something about, we're doing this for the women and the children. Shut up. Shut up. I don't want to hear it. I'm so tired of it. Iran was out there just minding their own business. They weren't pursuing a nuclear weapon. They hadn't did it since 2003. Them signing the agreement with under the Obama administration, literally that's the only thing he got right, was signing that agreement that Iran would not pursue the ability to make nuclear weapons. Of course, Trump destroyed that. Okay, I'm not, this I ain't gonna argue with. Department heads, they absolutely have. Test scores don't measure intelligence, but we'll have that discussion another time. But it amazes me that we're saying these things. I'm like, really? You're saying this to me? Like, what? Iran is not a threat to the United States. I would even argue that Iran is not a threat to Israel. I personally know, well, my belief is Israel is pursuing this knowing they can't by themselves beat Iran. They're going to need the help of the United States. No doubt about it. And they got it because our government under Trump is sold out to the APAC interest that is making us pour money into these systems. Most of us don't agree with your liberalism anymore. It hasn't helped. It's made things get worse. Okay, Liberty Twitcher, that's okay. What you agree with, what you don't agree with is fine. Whatever. Oh, hello, Thea. Cutting WIC, SNAP, HUD, Medicare, Medicaid, and home health support and education. So yeah, exactly. Like, how you gonna cut all that stuff and then say we're doing this for the women and the girls, and you treating the women and the girls over here like garbage? For real? No. Iran, is it perfect? No, no country is. But what threat were they to the United States? They were literally no threat. They had no weapons pointed at us. This exercise by Trump because, again, only Congress can declare war. This should get Trump impeached. It won't. And it wouldn't, even if the Democrats win the House and somehow get 60 votes in the Senate, he won't be impeached. It's not going to stop, right? Because both parties are sold out to the military industrial complex. It's this whole, we had to create wars. We had to just keep them going and keep them going. And this is where my fear is. I'm not scared of a whole lot of things, but my fear is that people are going to buy into this logic. And it's just I agree with the AOC brand that says, yeah, we need impeachment. Is it going to happen? Nope. And here's the other thing. I know the Democrats going to hate me for this, but I'm going to say what I'm going to say. I don't think we would have did anything different if Harris was president. It's I can't. When they asked her specifically in an interview, who is America's enemies? She named China, and she named Iran, and she named Russia. And she said she was going to do everything to stop them. That to me says war. I could be wrong. She's not president, so I'm playing a what ifs game, and a what ifs game at this point is kind of useless because she's not the president. But we have to. This is where I think it's time for the American public to speak up. And so I'm going to get back to this point and I'll say it and I'll kind of move on. Because again, I said this is going to be a really short show because this heat in this house, ooh, it getting on my nerves. If you look at previous administrations, right, this whole issue in the Middle East, I mean, it didn't start on October 7th. Let's get that straight. This was way back in the 50s. Well, no, it's even before that. when the United States was like, we're not taking Jewish immigrants. Let's just give them what used to be called Palestine, cut them out of place and call it Israel, and let's go. Somehow that got roped up into Zionism. And I do plan on doing a show about Zionism because I think people kind of like intertwine them. Like if you speak against Zionism, somehow you're speaking against Judaism, which that's not necessarily the case. So I think we need to separate those because they definitely are not the same thing. And to me, they have nothing in common, but they don't. But I wonder what the response would be, right? I was on Facebook, the place of information, and I'm trying to get this up here because someone made a good point. It's like now the Democrats are speaking out against it. But we're like the immigration issue, you were silent when, like I said, you were silent when Obama was dropping bombs in Syria. And I'm not saying you as the individual, I'm talking about you as in the party. I mean, we're silent when you were doing it. But now Trump's doing it. All of a sudden, oh no, we had to protect the Iranian people. We should have been protecting them all along. This is my point when I say both parties are the same. Do I believe that we would have still bombed Iran if Liz Cheney was Secretary of State? Yes. Prove me wrong. Again, I'm playing a what ifs game, but both parties are for useless, endless wars. They want to build up the military complex. They're both bought off by AIPAC. They both bend the knee to those groups. It's not about, they don't care about the women and the girls. They literally, if you think this administration cares about the girls and the women, I got a planet. It's called Neptune. I'll sell it to you for $5.52. I was just, thank you, Eve. Yes, you're trying to get folks to vent their rage and fall back in line in 2026. Let me tell y'all something. How do I know the Democrats would have the same response as the Republicans are having to this? Because I know they do. This party and the Republican Party, I'm saying both parties. I want you to keep this in mind. I'm saying this about both parties. So you can miss me with all you do is attack the Democrats. You know why? Because they're garbage. They're sitting here knowing good and well that out of Kamala Harris's mouth, she literally said Iran is a threat that has to be addressed. Was she talking about sending on the ground troops? Was she talking about airstrikes? No, she was talking about exactly what Trump would do. Don't get it twisted. Secretary of State Liz Cheney, because she would have been Secretary of State and they would have blindly voted for her and said, this is what the president wants, this is what the president is going to get. You're fooling yourself if you think the Democratic response would have been any different. Sorry, not sorry. You're fooling yourselves. You think that it would have been different? I wish they were the party of anti-war, but they're not. They take money from AIPAC, who wants to expand wars for Israel. They take money from the military industrial complex, who wants to expand wars for literally no reason. And for what? We keep doing this because I'm going to say this. I know I'm right about it because I don't need nobody arguing with me. We keep falling into these traps, bombing countries that didn't even bother us because we keep voting for the same people. We need to change the way we vote. We are voting for people that want to make people die. Make it make sense. It don't make no sense. Yeah, I said something grammatically incorrect. Oh, well. It doesn't make sense to me that we keep putting these people in office because APAC tells us to. They spend more money. I know that name. I'm not going to research their record. I'm not going to look at how they vote. As long as they're not Trump, oh well. And miss me with it. Miss me with the Democrats would have did something totally different. No, they wouldn't have. They would have done the exact same thing. They would have gone with the we're saving women and children and the women and the children and they don't get an education and da 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 da. Keep in mind, Joe Biden kicked millions of people off of Medicaid. You can argue with me all you want, but that's a fact. Joe Biden kicked people off of Medicaid. Now you're going to complain that the big, beautiful bill wants to cut people off of Medicaid? You did the same thing. And you think that there are people that are stupid enough to sit here and not say, hey, you did the same thing. Wrong. You're just wrong. I don't get it. Your hypocrisy, it amazes me how bad. And I need the media to stop wanting war to get ratings. Yeah, the mainstream media, y'all are garbage. Y'all are literal garbage. Like it's like they think, oh, we're gonna get a war. We're gonna send our news crew over there to cover it, and it'll be good for ratings. Really? You're really? Oh my goodness, y'all got to stop this. Y'all got to stop this. If I say that my goal is peace, and trust me, I understand as a Christian, there won't be peace until Jesus comes back. However, he did say, blessed are the peacemakers. I know that. I know I'm supposed to do my best to live in peace with everyone around me. I know I'm not supposed to be going and starting wars because I want their territory. I know that. But you're sitting here selling this women and girls and and it's just it amazes me how hypocritical that the Democratic Party is. If Harris were president, they would be saying they wouldn't. I wouldn't hear AOC talking about impeach. Should Trump be impeached for this bombing? Absolutely. Will he be impeached? No. But I guarantee if Harris was president, there'd be no Democrat talking about, well, she should be impeached. Because they don't believe in doing the right thing. They'll, as Edie said, they'll put a bow on it and try to make it pretty, but it's still ugly, right? It's still what it is. I'm trying to find I'm literally trying to find this where I'm going to go into one of my more progressive groups. Oh, my order just arrived. But this is, y'all, I just can't. I'm trying to find this. And remember this, Iran never denied us access to health care. Iran hasn't impeded our democracy. They are literally no threat. But of course, you won't get that from the media. So I know my thoughts are kind of all over the place, but this is just, it's for me, it's the war is bad in general. If I say I'm a peace activist and I live in peace and I try to walk in peace, I can't be for us bombing people. It's one thing when you are attacked, right? Well, that even though it's war, okay, I could kind of understand it if like Iran bombed someplace in America. Okay, it would kind of make sense to me. But this just, I'm like, this country is literally no threat. They are no threat to America. And Trump did this illegal bombing without the approval of Congress, which is required. And when I agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene and Candace Owens, it's time to not to say, you know what? it's over. I'm not a full America first person, but I do believe that you need to be taking care of home before you start going abroad. I basically believe, you know what? This is why I can't be president. If they leave me alone, we cool. You leave me alone, I leave you alone, and we do what we do. We'll sign a little trade agreement, but that's why I can't be president. Oh, well, that is what it is. Go on strike and boycott in every way we can. Cancel memberships and don't shop at big corporate as often as possible. Edie, I want to agree with you. I want to agree with you so bad, but here comes the problem. So I, as a type 1 diabetic, I have a lot of medications that I take besides insulin, hydrochlorothides, losartan. I take vitamin D because my potassium is low. I take a lot of things. They are cheaper at Walmart. Well, Walmart has a grocery store attached to it. It's right there. What do I do? So maybe we need to get more options on the table. I agree with you. Yeah, okay, I understand. Because I was like, you can't boycott everything. Now, Amazon, no, I'm not. Nope, I don't shop Amazon. Period, point blank. But that's me doing a little bit I can. Canceling memberships. I don't even think I have a membership. I mean, I have Philo, but I mean, it's like $28 a month. So yeah, but I definitely agree with you. We need to go on strike and make demands, right? We need to definitely we need to be striking because we can't keep going down this path of get us into these wars, make military industrial complex, make them billions while we got people starving. We're going to send young men and young women to war and they're going to come back with PTSD issues. Are we going to make sure they get health care? Nope, we'll cut it. We'll cut it. Whatever we need to do, we need to make demands, which is my problem with the hands-off, no more kings type of protest. They aren't making demands. People are like, well, how could you speak against it? It's good that you're protesting. Do not get me wrong. I want you to protest. But what I want you to do is to make demands when you're protesting. That's all I'm asking you to do. Oh, and stop trying to gear us back to the Democratic Party. That's trash. So, didn't think I was going to talk about that for 30 minutes, but oh well. So, second thing I want to talk about is, like I said, y'all, I'm making this a really quick show today because I got groceries on my front step that I got to go get. But I want to talk about the Tyler Perry lawsuit. And what's going on with that. And I think this is important because I'm gonna do this from 2 points of angle. Of course, I'm just gonna read you what the BBC wrote. So, U.S. film and TV giant Tyler Perry has been sued for $260 million by an actor who has accused the mogul of sexually assaulting him while working on his TV shows. Derek Dixon filed a lawsuit in Los Angeles accusing Perry of using his influence in the entertainment industry to create a coercive, sexually explosive dynamic while he was acting on The Oval and Ruthless. He alleges that Tyler promised him a successful acting career, but then suggested to him escalating to sexual harassment, assault, and battery, and professional retaliation when he did not reciprocate Perry's unwanted advances. Of course, Perry's people denied that his lawyers denied the accusation. This individual who got close to Tyler Perry for what now appears to be nothing more than, okay, so that's the attorney saying it's a money grab. I'm going to go to what Dixon says. He met Tyler Perry in 2019 while working in an event for Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta, Georgia. The pair talked over several months about an acting career. The lawsuit alleges that Perry made numerous sexual comments and remarks and wanted a sexual relationship, and made several advances on Dixon, which he rejected. Perry offered a role to Dixon in the TV show Ruthless, then later in The Oval, but the lawsuit says Mr. Perry made it clear to Dixon if Dixon ignored Perry or failed to engage with the sexual innuendos, Dixon's character would die in the next season. The case claims that Perry always held this over Mr. Dixon's head, implying that his character Dale would survive if he kept Tyler Perry happy. The lawsuit cites several incidents where Perry allegedly sexually assaulted Dixon. The actor accuses Perry of interrogating him over his sexual interest in a trailer on the set of The Oval before pinning him on a wall and fondling him. Dixon said he refused the advance and left the trailer. Dixon said to stop the harassment. He elected to leave his role on The Oval and declined a job from Perry to work on his staff as a writer. So why am I talking about this? One, there's a couple of things I want to say about this. And again, I'm going to take this from two sides of the status. And I was just talking to my sister about this. If this is me and I'm suing and I've been assaulted, I've been harassed, the first place I'm thinking about calling is the police, and I'm filing charges. There have been, of course, this case with Tyler Perry is a civil case, not a criminal case. I'm wondering why he didn't file why he didn't file criminal charges. Now, I'm not questioning the victim's motives, the alleged victim motives. I don't do that. I don't make that kind of judgment. But somebody's going to look at it that way. And I might as well explore that. Why would you not go to the police? However, when you do go to the police, what are they doing? Are they making questions? Are they out here pursuing, like when normally it's a female, right? That's saying, hey, I was sexually harassed or sexually assaulted. I don't think you can take harassment through criminal charges, but you can definitely assault. You can. If he's pinning him against the walls, that's assault, right? That's definitely sexual assault. He makes the charge. So this is a male making a case against another male, which complicates things. So maybe his avenue was to pursue this instead of going through criminal charges. But I wonder, what if he had pursued those criminal charges? Would it have been dismissed? Would there have been an investigation launched? Because now without an investigation, Perry's lawyers are going to say this is a money grab. We know that Shannon Sharpe has the same situation. Harvey Weinstein was actually convicted because someone brought criminal charges through the courts against him. He was convicted. So that's totally different. But I wonder what would have happened with that if he pursued that path. Would there have been an investigation? Would there have been a look at Tyler's past? He's lived the life that you want to live, but he's always maintained his heterosexuality, right? This kind of destroys that. And again, I'm not here to judge anybody's lifestyle, because that's not what I do. But he's very popular in terms of his plays with a lot of church-going audiences. So maybe he hid that because he didn't want that to stop his money train. There's some text that I'm not going to read. I don't know who the Earl Smith story is, but I think it may have something to do with Tyler Perry, but no, I have not. But I think, he sent some text to me. I'm not going to highlight them. I'm not going to even talk. Well, I'm going to talk about it. They were creepy, but not necessarily illegal. So it's going to be, hard. I think this case gets settled out of court like the Christopher Christian Keys case did, because this would be the second case against Tyler Perry, because Christian Keys was the first actor that filed charges, did a civil suit. Yeah, Christian Keys was the first actor that did a suit against Perry. Um, um, I'm trying to see what they settled for. Um, okay, so yeah, I know Christian Keys made some. He did these videos, and he sort of kind of was talking. You could tell he was talking about Tyler Perry, but he never named him. I don't know if there was I thought there was a lawsuit, but apparently there is not. So I'm going to keep an eye on that, because it's so many layers, right? You get so many, like Hollywood has like this power dynamic that we never explore, because, this show takes the political structure, but you have this happening across politics, sports, entertainment, where if you don't put out, these people have the power to destroy you. And we have to be looking at, where are we spending our dollars at? Where are we contributing to? Because apparently, when you have a lot of money, essentially, you may grow into and I'm not taking sides in this. This hasn't been proven in a court or not proven in a court. But apparently you start to think, yeah, I can do whatever I want because I have all this money. And that makes me sad, right? It should be justice for all. It should be equal under the law. But apparently, when you have money, you can just do whatever you want. Look at Sean Diddy Combs. I mean, people have said they've known about his um, exploits for years and said nothing. Money equals power. I don't like it. I think it should be destroyed. I think it's part of the capitalistic system, but people in those high positions, in my opinion, tend to be accused of using their money to extort power, but it happens in politics. Look at um oh my goodness, I'm going to say Joel Osteen. Jeffrey Epstein. He was flying politicians, sports figures, entertainers into his island. And we still can't get those released because of whose name is on those lists. So I think the public needs to be paying attention to this, and it's going to be interesting to see where it goes. But personally, I think that this is going to be settled out of court. So the last thing I want to talk about, and I said there's going to be a short show because again, I'm hot. I'm hot. I'm hot. I'm hot. And I don't like heat at all. I want to show you a picture. So if many of you look at me, you see a bunch of white hair. I used to have black hair way, 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 way back in the day. And as I was discussing with my sister, I have not seen myself with black hair in so long. I kind of wondered, hey, what would I look like with black hair? Now, keep in mind, this is AI generated, and I'm going to tell you how you know it's AI generated. So I'm going to show you the picture of what I look like the picture I used, and say, this is a picture I loaded up and said, hey, AI, show me what I look like with black hair. So I'm going to get that picture. I'm trying to get it up here, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay, see profile picture. Oh my goodness. Come on. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to show you guys what I look like. Exactly. Her once that Kevin Spacey. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. But I'm going to show you guys a picture of what I basically look like now. So we're going to share the screen. And they're gonna be like, it's better with two. So we're gonna go here. This is my Facebook profile picture. So keep in mind, this is what I look like now, right? Look at all that silver. Look at all that silver. All that silver. All that silver. Wide nose, thick lips. That's what I look like now. This is what AI thinks I look like with black hair. Now you can tell there's a difference because one, I haven't seen myself with that much black hair in like 20 years. It kind of shocked me that this is what I would look like. The nose is definitely different, right? You can tell this is AI generate because that's not my nose. My nose is much broader and much wider. But that's what I look like with just jet black hair. It kind of, to be honest, it shocked me because I'm like, oh, wait a minute, what happened? What the heck happened? But it, like I said, it's been a while since I've seen myself like that. And I was like, ooh, because you can tell, look at that. If you remember that picture, my nose is definitely wider. And they got me more looking fat faced on that picture, AI picture. I'm not that, I mean, I'm chunky faced, but I'm not fat faced. I know there's a difference. Um, oh, it's white on the screen. I'll see a picture. Um, so wait a minute, let me show y'all again. Hopefully y'all can see this. So this is what AI thinks I look like with black hair. Let me show y'all again. Okay, I hope y'all can see that, right? I hope y'all can see that. That's what the AI thinks I look like with jet black hair. Um, oh, you don't see it either? Oh, y'all. It's right, like I can literally see it. Well, maybe it's not meant for y'all to see this, but this picture is tripping me out because this is what AI thinks I look like without gray hair. Um, Obviously, again, the nose is different. But y'all saying y'all can't see it. I do look completely different. That's what I was like, oh, wait a minute. At first, I didn't like it, right? Because I was like, ugh. But then I guess I kind of creeped back into my youth and said, oh, that's what I look like. Yeah, I'm not hating this. I'm literally am not hating the way that I look in this picture, except minus the nose, because that's not my nose. It's kind of me, but it's not me. The nose is different. My eyes aren't that small. My eyes are fairly large. So it's an AI version of me, definitely. But I saw that at first. I was like, whoa. Um, yeah, it does. AI messes you up. So if you ever want to see what you look like as a cartoon, it's just a fun tool. Because I was like, I wonder what I look like. Because if you don't know me, I've been thinking about years of getting a wig because I'm so tired of this gray hair. I'm tired of it. I can't. I can't. I'm just like, no. And please miss me with the I like your gray hair. I don't. And I'm like wondering what it is I would look like. And if that's what I look like, that's not half bad. I don't think that's a bad picture. I think people would have to get used to it because people are so used to seeing me with white hair. Um, but that's what AI does, Marlon. I mean, I don't even like It doesn't even look like someone you could be related to. It doesn't. That's why I was like, that's not me. But because I just wondered, what would I look like? Yes, I could go buy a wig and say, oh, that's what I look like. But, I haven't seen myself with black hair completely. What about cutting it short? Okay, now I did think about that, but my hair grows back very fast. So me cutting it, it's more of not the length, it's the color that bothers me. I used to have short hair and I prefer it this length as opposed to that short and shorter hair for black women. It take a lot of upkeep. I can just slap this in a ponytail and I'm good to go. But cutting it short, it would be like more work. So I'm not more concerned about the length. I'm more concerned about the color. See, this is the people's I like the silver. I don't. I am 51. I should not be having all of this going on. Like all of this should be just like gone. I see people, I'm like, how did they get their hair that dark? But again, it shocked me. One, I haven't seen myself with completely black hair in over 20 years. I don't know what I look like. I don't know what it would be like to like carry that. So I think it's just, it's real interesting to play with those things. But yeah, I'm thinking about getting a wig because I just can't. I can't with all this stuff. How old are you? You don't look that old. I'm not old. I just have old looking hair. Oh, but that's just something about me. Yeah, but your hair isn't mostly gray. And then I always get well, people half your age are changing their haircut. Nobody 25 is like, give me that silver. Just go out there and make it. No, nobody doing that. Yeah, I could go on and on about this, but I got groceries on the porch that I got to get. So I'm going to just cut this short. But I will be following the Iran debacle because we shouldn't even be doing this. We should not be doing this, and we need to be in the streets, like making a legitimate protest with demands. A protest with demands. Hear me, No Kings rally, and hear me, hands off rally. Make a protest with demands that we stop this. This country literally did nothing to us. But final word, tune in on Thursday at 6:00 p.m. I will be talking to Kayla Fitzgerald about Cop City. I have been wanting to talk to someone about Cop City for years. So I will be talking to her about Cop City, how it started, what the response has been, et cetera, et cetera. That will be on Thursday. Um, at 6:00 p.m. So I'm dusting off the Tracy show for a special, the Tracy show at 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Guys, it's been a show. I didn't expect to go this long. I thought I'd be done in 45 minutes. Of course, I almost went an hour, but I will see you Thursday at 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am going to sign off. Have a good one. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this channel, share this podcast, subscribe. Support my fundraiser on the 20th of September because I desperately need your help. Thank you so much and have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.